All right, we're off and running. Hey, Murray. Hi, Megan. Thank you for joining us for our discussion about coach. Thank you very much for being a part of this.
Thanks, Mark, for having us.
Yeah. Hey, Murray, I'd like to begin with you. If you could just give us a brief synopsis of your journey in Christian ministry and what it is that you're currently doing, and then once you've given us that little summary, perhaps Megan, you can share with us your journey.
Sure thing. Thanks, Mark. Well, currently I have the joy of being the executive director of Alpha Australia, working alongside Melinda Dwight, the national director, and with a great team of people just helping to encourage churches with evangelism and to see people exploring faith in Jesus. So I've been doing that for the last 4 years. I was the senior pastor of Nexus Church in Brisbane for 11 years. Previously, my background was actually in education. I was a school principal before that, Mark.
Yeah, wow. What an exciting career. And what about you, Megan? What's been your journey and what are you currently doing?
So at the moment, I am working for the Coaching Network as relationships manager. We're working alongside you. Before that, I was working as a pastor in a full-time role at Nexus Church. I'm still there 1 day a week. And before that, I was coach coordinator for the local area for a coach program at Evan Park, and then South East Queensland manager for coordinators for coach.
Yeah, you've had quite an engagement with coach over the years, Megan, haven't you?
I definitely have. So
it's certainly a pleasure and an honour from that perspective. And Murray, I just want to acknowledge this, that from my perspective, mate, Nexus in Evan Park has been really influential in the growth and the development of coach within Queensland. As a matter of fact, the Nexus Church was the first church in Queensland that took coach community mentoring on, and we figured that was around about 2009. So I'd be interested to know, Murray, what was it that first inspired your church to become involved with coach?
Like I became senior pastor in 2007, and a little after that, we started asking ourselves the question: how can we really serve our community? And so we did some research around our area to see what was the need, and was there a need that our church could perhaps be meeting? And we discovered that in a number of the suburbs, particularly to the south, a little more to the southeast, the major issue was food security. There were major food security challenges, and so we thought, well, that could be the thing that we do. And so we launched a program we called Nexus Care, which is still going to this day. And its first and primary focus was to help solve this issue of food security that many families were feeling. About 1 in 4 families in those suburbs had that challenge. So we began to provide food, to source fresh food, to provide. We learned quickly things we didn't know, but about nutrition and the kinds of food provision that these people needed and would be good. And that really that became very significant to us as a church. And then we actually began to discover that though that was great, we found that there was some of those families we would deliver the food, they didn't know always what to do with it. We discovered that there was another level of need that we weren't prepared for. We weren't ready. We didn't know how to meet that level of need. And around that time, Mark, you showed up and started to talk about the coach program. And it just seemed like the right thing at the right time. Here was a way that we could get alongside, not at the numbers, not the breadth perhaps of delivery, but going deeper with some people, and particularly those where that was an issue. So in ways that we could actually help, not just provide food, but help with life and the skills of life that seem to be absent in some cases.
Yeah. Thank you, Murray, for that summary. It's interesting hearing you share that. It prompts me to consider that often families and people in need will come to a church and their presenting need might be around material sort of requirements like food, some sort of support to maybe pay a bill or whatever it might be. But we know that those sorts of problems generally don't come on their own, do they? And it sounds to me that out of that early engagement with Nexus Care, you learned that indeed there's often underlying things that are contributing to why people present with those sorts of problems. Yeah, and indeed, I think we share the view that it seems that community mentoring is positioned to be able to support people to meet those sort of deeper needs in the hope that might strengthen that family or that individual to not have to depend on that sort of food security that they might initially present with.
Yeah, absolutely true, Mark. That was the case that we found. It turned out that it wasn't just an issue of people didn't know how to use the food. It was quite significant in itself. Finding that believe it or not, there was a family they had never cooked a meal. They had no idea what to do. But that was you could say it was the tip of the iceberg. And once we had people trained in the coach program and moving into those areas, the skills that they were able to help with were many and were broad. But that how as you could say, that was our doorway.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Murray. And Megan, from your perspective, so you were coach coordinator for a number of Nexus, and then you took on a role with us nationally as well, helping us grow coach across Queensland. From your perspective, how do you think coach community mentoring impacts the culture of the church?
Great question. I think there's nothing like vision outside the church that I think we can become so into everything we do is in a Christian bubble that it's actually nice to be outside and have a view into community, but actually be equipped to know how to do it. I think as Christians, a lot of people need, but it gets too hard because they don't know how to. So the coach program actually broke down all the barriers and allowed people a vehicle to get into the community and really make a difference. It stirred excitement and enthusiasm because there's a part of every Christian that wants to share their story and share the love of Jesus. And if you don't do that, there's a stagnancy that takes place. So it was a genuine excitement and freshness, I think, that came upon the church. I mean, I'm to speak more to that because he sort of saw it on a broader level, but in the space that we were, there was a real genuine excitement of being able to show people the love of Jesus in a meaningful way that made a difference. And a lot of those people are probably sitting in Nexus now or have jobs because of people that came alongside them with basics that at the time were far beyond their capabilities. So, yeah.
That's incredible. So Megan, just sort of thinking a little bit further around that, from your perspective, what do you think is the point of difference that coach offers, maybe in comparison to mainstream welfare support? Because you can get this type of support out in the mainstream sort of secular world. So what do you think the point of difference is?
not to use a coach tagline, but it really was a friendship with a purpose. I think the services are exactly that, a service, but you had genuine people who were genuinely connecting and wanting to see people flourish. I know that sounds like a little tagline being coach, but that really was what it was like. It wasn't an emptiness. I think when people come in for a service, that's what they get. Whereas there was such a wraparound in a church, it was safe. Many needs were met, but people, time after time, you would meet with people. You go to their houses and it was dark and chaotic. And after a couple of times of visiting them, the curtains got open. There was less chaos, and I don't think there's that continuity of support in services that you get when you engage with somebody who genuinely wants to see people go from A to M.
Actually, that little reflection of yours, Megan, prompts me to recall when we had one of our Monash University evaluations, the one that was concluded in 2012. One of the people that was engaged in that evaluation, one of the families that we mentored, this woman said words to the effect of, I don't disrespect the professional services. I value them. But with coach community mentoring, I understand that I'm not a person's job. That this is about the relationship, and it's the relationship that I really value.
And I think we never tried to do what the services were doing. We tried to support in another way and work with the services. So it was, we were never the experts. We would come alongside the people, but it was more that relational that was we could offer.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, Murray, just to reflect a little around how do you think coach might connect with the message of Jesus Christ. So how do the two connect, do you think?
Well, I think it's not possible to read scripture without realizing that we, as the followers of Jesus, have a responsibility to share that love in very practical ways. And Jesus himself, I think his discipling is a model for us. It's the coming alongside and I think the coach is in a sense a form of discipling, or you might call discipleship, but nevertheless you're saying it's coming alongside, and I think it represents the ways of Jesus well.
Yeah, beautiful. And what about your perspective? Add to what Murray just shared.
I think you articulated it brilliantly.
That's good.
I think people, because of that relational piece, people were really open to an invitation to come along to things at church. They respected the words. Your actions speak far louder than words. So as you journeyed with people on a timeline, they could see that they weren't a project, that you weren't just there for the gold moments. You were actually there in the toughest parts with them on their journey. So that built up credibility and an honor and a respect. And they paid attention to what you had to say. And they asked you, why are you bothering to do this? That was Jesus in action.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's interesting as I reflect out of this conversation, I reflect on the journey. And what we know is that we don't set this as a strategic goal. But what we do know is that birthed out of these relationships, the relationships between God's empowered children to go out and walk alongside people who are battling and struggling. What we do know is that year after year, our data is telling us that nearly 60% of the families, the individuals that we're connecting with through mentoring are engaging in some form of Christian type activity, Christian life with their mentor as a consequence of the support that their mentor is providing, which should tell us a story, shouldn't it? That the expression and the growth of the kingdom comes through relationships and friendships. And in this case, we're talking about Christians mobilised through the coach program, drawing alongside people that you mentioned the term, I think, pre-Christians, coming alongside people that perhaps might not know much about the ways and the words and the works of Jesus, but perhaps they're seeing that expressed in the relationships that they're forming with their mentors, and that then is translating into that 60%, pretty much consistent figure. Yeah.
Well, one of the very important elements of drawing anybody into the loving arms of Christ is trust. It's prerequisite. I think a coach enables the building of a trust relationship.
Yeah, mate, that is a perfect summary. That's beautiful. Murray, Megan, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for partnering with us, joining with us in this expression of God's character and His ways through Coach. Thank you so much for both being incredibly influential in expressing the value of Coach into Queensland and even beyond, really. And thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming to us all those years ago and bringing Coach to us. Thank you for your passion. It was your passion and that really got us interested, and the story that you were telling of lives that were being changed, and then opened that door for us to come in, creating something that we could just enter into. We didn't know what to do next, and you gave us Coach, and that was the thing to do next. Also, the way that just set lights in people in our own church community. Megan was one of them, and I want to thank Megan because she was the key that really took it and ran with it so well. But it was something alive in her, and then in our coaches, it was something alive in them, and so that there was this like domino effect within our community of faith. So thank you so much. Thank you, Coach, and all those who made that possible.
God bless you, Murray. God bless you, Megan.
Thank you.
Thank you.